Hello friends, welcome back to our Go Agile Part 4. By the way, somebody asked me about the music videos. Yes, that's correct. I sing and I also host a music series called My Ranjani. If you follow the content, you can view that. If not, just ignore. So coming back to Go Agile, hope you all got a good foundation on what Agile is broadly and how it is different from the traditional waterfall approach. So over the last 3 or so decades, so many companies exploring these new ways of development, generally referring to as Agile. It resulted in a number of different methods or frameworks, and each of those are unique in their own way, but have some commonalities to be broadly called Agile. With that, here are some of the new frameworks that got created, and since all of them have some common Agile approach, the term Agile has become more of a generic umbrella term, and under that, a variety of frameworks got evolved. Even I don't know much about all these frameworks, so you don't even need to worry. But we will review Scrum because that is the most popular. And we will also look at Kanban because a couple of people asked me. Though I'm not an authority on Kanban, but I will try to cover Kanban in one of the sessions. Whatever limited knowledge I have on Kanban, I'll share. Anyway, so let's very quickly review at least some of the definitions of these different frameworks. Kanban is a Japanese term meaning a signboard. Kanban, it's actually 2 words. It's originally introduced in Toyota company as a visual display for just-in-time manufacturing as a scheduling system. Coming to IT projects, it's basically a pull system where you have all the tickets and you pull tickets one by one based on your capacity and fix issues. So as I said earlier, we will try to do a separate session on Kanban. So DSDM stands for Dynamic Systems Development Method. It is an iterative and incremental approach. These are some of the very commonly used terms throughout Agile, iterative, incremental. So get used to the terms. So coming to DSDM, there is constant customer collaboration built into this model. Back in the day, there used to be a model called Rapid Application Development. Some of you might have heard it. It used to be quite popular at one time, but it had its own weaknesses and a bit inconsistent. So DSDM was developed to bring the discipline into rapid application development. That's how it was born. Then FDD stands for feature-driven development. Again, FDD is also an incremental approach. The emphasis is on building client-valued functionality through repeatable delivery of tangible software. It was first developed at a Singapore bank. It evolved into 5 different processes: develop overall model, build feature list, plan by feature, design by feature, build by feature. So as you can notice, it's mostly revolving around your features, which is nothing but the functionality. We are not going to details because you don't need to learn so many frameworks in the first place. Secondly, even I don't know much about them except 1 or 2. But it's good if you know that such frameworks exist so you can relate to it if someone talks about them. Next is XP. XP stands for Extreme Programming. Here, the emphasis is on how you can improve the quality of the software and being responsive to changing customer needs. XP is also generally called as pair programming, which means 2 people will sit together and will jointly be working. While one writes the code, the other then and there reviews the code. So this involves extensive code reviews. That's how they bring in very high quality standards. In a way, coding standards are taken to extreme level. That's why it's called extreme programming. Then you have Scrum. So Scrum is another lightweight framework. It is again iterative and incremental, and responding to changing requirements and regularly releasing software. So pretty much they try to package all the Agile concepts into Scrum. We will review again Scrum in detail later. Then you have Crystal. Crystal is the least heard framework. There is no clear methodology, but the belief is many times the output depends on the size of a team. And depending on the size of the team, the process and workflow changes. So they give different names to different team sizes, like Crystal Clear, Crystal Yellow, Crystal Orange, Crystal Red, and so on. So Crystal Clear, I think it's teams with less than 8 people. Crystal Yellow is teams with between 10 and 20 people. Crystal Orange is teams with between 20 and 50 people. Crystal Red is teams with between 50 and 100 people. So broadly, the Crystal model includes 7 processes. There's frequent delivery, reflective improvement, osmotic communication. Osmotic communication means it's basically having teams in the same physical space, like it's co-located. That's very important as it allows information to flow between team members as if by osmosis. So that is how it's that's how the name osmotic communication. Then you have personal safety. Team members should feel safe to discuss ideas openly without fear of ridicule. So there are no right or wrong answers or bad sessions in a crystal team. And then you have focus on work. Team members should know what to work on next and be able to do it. And this requires clear communication and documentation when required. Then number 6 is access to subject matter experts and users. Team members should be able to get feedback from real users and experts as and when required. Then you have the last one, technical tooling. Development teams. So the belief is that basically the toolings are very important, and by toolings what they mean is things like the automated testing or configuration management or continuous deployment. That means errors and mistakes can be caught quickly without human intervention. So it's basically effectively using automation. Okay friends, now that we reviewed Agile broadly, and we also looked at different Agile frameworks under the Agile umbrella. Wow, you're all super, catching up quite well. So now you know a lot of frameworks. Anyway, so let's imagine you are starting your first Agile project. So what should be your mindset like? What is the preparedness? If you don't want to fail the first project, what is it? No, you should do the right things. Let's quickly look at that. So there are two aspects to it. One, mostly organizational related, things like what kind of projects you can choose and all that stuff. And the second is individually, as a person, what kind of preparedness you should have, what kind of mindset you should have. So let's see first from an organizational perspective. I know this is not in your hands. It's dictated more by what the organization tells or what the committees decide. But if you have any influence, you should make some of these points and influence the decision to choose the right kind of project to make sure you don't fail. So let's see. First one, dependencies. So when you choose a project as your first project to try out Agile, make sure that the project has least number of dependencies. See, once a project has lesser dependencies on other factors, it's fairly easy to execute that. So you choose that to try out Agile because you don't want to show that your first project has failed, right? It's very important. Perceptions are important. So you want to show a win. Then change management. This is a very interesting topic and very important too. Because unless there is right attitude, it just can't be successful because they will constantly pulling you down. It's like crab culture. You know what crab culture is? So in those freight trains earlier, when they have to ship these crabs, they just don't put a lid on the top. You know why? Because if one crab tries to crawl up, two crabs pull it down. So people are like that. It's very important that you choose right team who are open-minded, who have the zeal to try out new things to be part of your first pilot project. So change management is very important. And then open communication. A big difference from traditional methods is that Agile encourages very open communication. So this again is mindset and attitude, but team spirit is very important. There is nothing like one person does well or one does bad. Either you all collectively win or you all collectively lose. And then of course the right team. By right team, I mean to make sure you try to get the right combination of people with all necessary skills. You don't want to just pull like 3 people just because they worked with you in the past, though you need some other skill. So it has to be cross-functional. Just make sure you address the cross-functional needs as to what is required exactly for the project to be a success. So be open to accept other people from other groups or new people, but your emphasis should be to have the right cross-functional combination of skills to make sure the project is a success. And then this is another interesting thing, like what is the urgency? Like for example, there are some projects where there is a lot of urgency, and that helps you a lot because once you choose a project that has a lot of urgency, then you get a lot of management support, you get a lot of support from other departments to make sure this project is successful. So it's very important. So also see, okay, which projects have that kind of urgency, that burning desire that, okay, this project needs to be executed quickly, or some sort of urgency to deliver the project. Okay, so these are some of the organizational aspects. As a leader, you have to make some effort to influence, to make sure that you pick the right project, right team, right environment for your first Agile project to be a success. Now, in terms of what your mindset should be as an individual, okay, there are certain characteristics that are highly encouraged and essential for an Agile project to win. So one, take responsibility. So days are gone that there is a project manager and he or she will take care. Why should I worry? Well, that's all over. Now the entire team should feel the same amount of responsibility and accountability. You should also be receptive to hearing suggestions and coexisting with others. Transparency. This is a tough ask. The weakness many humans have is not to be transparent. You have to break that barrier. Initially, it is tough, but once you come out of it, it makes your life a lot easier and you will be liked a lot by others. So, full transparency is required for you to see a successful project. Team needs to be very transparent and it starts right with you. Don't give up. Life is not easy and smooth. It's like a roller coaster ride. There are going to be ups and downs. You are trying something new. Have a positive attitude. Things will work out. Give a serious try. Things may fail. That's okay. But don't give up. Find solutions. We know in teams, people always try to find faults or problems, which is not a big deal. But finding a solution, yes, it's a big deal. So try as much as possible to find solutions within your boundaries. And never say, I am not here to solve all problems. Of course, we know that. Rather, you say, I will put all my effort to solve the problems. Again, that attitude is very important. Okay, friends, with that, we conclude this Go Agile Part 4. Thanks for watching, and we'll meet again soon in Go Agile 5. Take care. Bye.